welcome back to our channel, devoted soap fans. Today is a truly beautiful day to dive into the latest, most explosive drama unfolding in our favorite fictional town. The stakes have never been higher, and we have all the thrilling, edge-of-your-seat details you crave. Let's get right into the heart of the action. Betrayal is a bitter pill, but in the treacherous landscape of Genoa City, it is a highly lethal weapon. The sheer gravity of the current situation cannot be overstated, as vengeance, psychological warfare, and terrifying medical emergencies are colliding in a spectacular fashion. The Newman family is currently under siege from all sides, facing threats both external and internal. However, the orchestrator of this week's most explosive and dangerous drama is none other than the famously unpredictable Patty Williams. For decades, Patty has been a dangerous wild card, a woman whose fragile mental state and obsessive, vindictive tendencies have left a massive trail of destruction in her wake. Now, she holds the ultimate trump card. She holds the fate of the amnesiac Matt Clark entirely in her hands. And in a twist that will leave viewers breathless, she is about to hand him over to the devil himself. The tension is palpable, the stakes are literally life and death, and the fallout from her impending actions will undoubtedly shatter the city to its core. To fully understand the magnitude of this impending collision, we must first dive deep into the fractured, chaotic mind of Matt Clark. Matt is currently navigating the world through the terrifying, disorienting fog of profound amnesia. He is a historical monster stripped of his darkest memories, a vicious predator who has temporarily forgotten the sharpness of his own fangs. Yet, even in this highly vulnerable and confused state, his innate survival instincts remain razor sharp. He looks at Patty Williams and sees not a benevolent savior, but a deeply unstable liability. Matt realizes that tying himself to Patty's erratic brand of protection is essentially a death sentence. He makes a fateful, stubborn decision to walk away. He flatly rejects her offers of safe passage. He rejects her twisted, manipulative affection. He chooses to brave the dangerous, unforgiving streets of Genoa City entirely alone, completely unaware of the massive target painted on his back. Hell hath no fury like Patty Williams' scorn. When Matt confidently walks out that door, something dark and dangerous inside Patty violently snaps. She did not rescue him from Phyllis Summers' makeshift hotel dungeon just to be discarded like yesterday's trash. She desperately wanted to be his partner in crime, his trusted guardian angel in a city overflowing with people who want to see him dead. His blunt rejection is the ultimate, unforgivable insult to her fragile ego. Patty's mind immediately begins to race, calculating the most devastating, humiliating way to prove to Matt that leaving her side was a fatal mistake. She wants him to feel the crushing, suffocating weight of his own vulnerability. She wants him to realize that without her protection, he is nothing but helpless prey. And so, in a moment of pure, vindictive brilliance, she decides to unleash the ultimate predator upon him. The phone call that changes everything happens in a heartbeat. Patty deliberately dials the number of the man she despises almost as much as she claims to despise her own inner demons, Victor Newman, the ruthless, calculating patriarch of the Newman Empire. The man who has been hunting Matt Clark with a relentless, bloodthirsty obsession since the terrifying explosion in Las Vegas. When Victor answers the phone, the air in the room grows instantly ice cold. Patty does not hesitate or mince words. She cruelly dangles the ultimate prize right in front of Victor's face. She has Matt. She knows exactly where he is. She knows exactly where he is going. The unholy, temporary alliance between Patty Williams and Victor Newman is forged in the burning fires of mutual hatred and opportunistic vengeance. The trap is set. The hounds are released. Victor mobilizes his elite security team. The orders are absolute. Find Matt. Capture Matt. Do not let him escape. Victor's eyes are dark with the promise of violence. He has waited for this moment. He has waited to look Matt in the eyes and make him pay. Patty reveals the exact coordinates. She feeds Victor the breadcrumbs. The Newman security force descends. They are armed, they are ready, they are closing in. But Patty is not content to simply watch from the sidelines. She wants a front row seat to his destruction. She begins to shadow him. She stalks him through the winding streets. She stays just out of sight. A ghost haunting his every step, she tracks his movements. She feeds real-time updates to Victor's approaching army. The suspense is agonizing. Matt walks blindly into the jaws of the beast. He has no idea he is being hunted. He has no idea the woman he rejected is the architect of his doom. And this is the moment I almost screamed at the screen. The tension in these stalking scenes is absolutely suffocating. But will this elaborate, vengeful plan actually succeed? This is Genoa City, a place where the best laid plans of billionaires and blackmailers often end in catastrophic, unpredictable failure. Matt Clark is a seasoned survivor. Even without his memories to guide him, he possesses a terrifying, instinctual cunning. If he senses Patty's lingering presence, if he hears the heavy, approaching footsteps of Victor's security team, he will bolt. He will vanish into the night like smoke. Furthermore, Patty is entirely unpredictable. Her intense desire to punish Matt might violently conflict with her sudden, erratic impulses. She could easily sabotage her own intricate trap if the mood suddenly strikes her. The margin for error is razor thin, and the likelihood of a spectacular, messy failure is incredibly high. While Victor is entirely consumed by his blinding bloodlust for Matt, his own family is violently crumbling from within. Across town, a critical, high-stakes strategy meeting is taking place. Nick Newman, Sharon Newman, Sienna Bacall, and Noah Newman are gathered together to figure out how to proactively handle the looming Matt Clark threat. The atmosphere in the room is thick with suffocating anxiety. Sharon is terrified for the safety of her children. Noah is fiercely, aggressively protective. Sienna is drowning in the toxic guilt of her past romantic and criminal association with Matt, and Nick is a literal ticking time bomb. The severe, devastating toll of his fentanyl addiction is ravaging his body from the inside out. He is sweating profusely, he is shaking uncontrollably. He is trying desperately to hold his fractured mind together for the sake of his family. The meeting reaches a fever pitch. Nick stands up. He makes a phone call. His voice is tight. His knuckles are white. Then it happens. The phone slips. His eyes roll back. He collapses. The heavy thud of his body hitting the floor echoes. Panic erupts. Sharon screams. Noah lunges forward. Sienna freezes. Nick is completely unresponsive. He is unconscious. The drugs have finally overwhelmed his system. The man who was supposed to protect them is dying on the floor. The urgency is absolute. Call an ambulance. Check his pulse. Save him now. The sheer, paralyzing terror of Nick's sudden collapse cannot be overstated. This is not just a momentary dizzy spell brought on by exhaustion. This is the catastrophic, life-threatening culmination of a brutal addiction to fentanyl, a highly toxic drug that has already claimed countless lives across the country. Sharon is forced to witness the horrifying, visceral physical deterioration of the man she loves deeply. The trauma of this specific moment will scar the Newman family forever. It is a brutal, agonizing reminder that while Victor is out hunting historical monsters in the streets, the real, lethal monster is already inside their home, actively poisoning his son's veins. Nick needs professional, intensive rehabilitation immediately, or he will not survive the week. The family must abruptly pivot from fighting Matt Clark to desperately fighting for Nick's very breath. The nightmare, tragically, does not end there. While Nick fights for his life on the floor and Victor hunts his amnesiac prey in the streets, the beloved matriarch of the Newman family is fighting a terrifying, invisible battle of her own. At the upscale Genoa City Athletic Club, Nikki Newman is sitting with her daughter, Victoria. The elegant, luxurious surroundings of the GCEC stand in stark, cruel contrast to the sheer physical agony Nikki is currently experiencing. She is tightly clutching her head. Her face is pale, drawn tight with unbearable pain. She is suffering from a severe, debilitating headache that simply refuses to subside. This is not a normal, everyday migraine. This is an all-consuming, blinding pain that leaves her completely disoriented, dizzy, and gasping for relief. Victoria watches her mother with mounting, paralyzing horror. She asks Nikki what is wrong, but Nikki can barely string a coherent sentence together. The pain is simply too intense for conversation. Victoria's sharp mind races with terrifying, worst-case medical possibilities. Is this the onset of a stroke? Is it a ruptured aneurysm? Is there a tumor silently growing inside her mother's brain? The sheer uncertainty of the situation is paralyzing. Nikki tearfully admits that she truly thought the headaches had finally gone away, but they have returned with a vicious vengeance, striking her down without any warning. Victoria knows that the extreme, relentless stress of Victor's ruthless vendettas and Nick's tragic, escalating addiction could be manifesting physically. But the sheer severity of Nikki's pain suggests something far more sinister and deadly is at play. Beyond the immediate, terrifying medical mystery, there is a darker, more insidious threat looming heavily over Nikki's agonizing struggle. The pain in her head is unbearable, and when physical or emotional pain becomes unbearable, the human mind desperately seeks an escape route. For decades, Nikki Newman's chosen escape route has been the bottle. Victoria knows her mother's tragic, highly publicized history with alcoholism intimately. She knows that excruciating physical agony and profound emotional trauma are the ultimate, most dangerous triggers for a catastrophic relapse. As Nikki writhes in pain at the table, Victoria is consumed by the paralyzing, sickening fear that her mother will reach for a drink just to numb the agony. If Nikki cannot find immediate relief through professional medical intervention, the seductive temptation to drown her intense suffering in alcohol might become completely impossible to resist. The stakes for Nikki's hard-won sobriety have never been higher. The convergence of these three explosive, life-altering storylines creates a landscape of absolute, unmitigated devastation for the powerful Newman family. Victor is entirely blinded by his dark obsession with capturing Matt Clark, completely unaware that his beloved wife is suffering a terrifying medical crisis and his son is lying unconscious on the floor fighting for his life. The patriarch's corporate empire might be secure, but his family is actively burning to the ground around him. Patty Williams has gleefully ignited the match by setting Victor on Matt's trail, but the tragic collateral damage of this chaotic night will be felt by everyone. The Newman family is currently facing a brutal, multi-front war that threatens to destroy them from the inside out. They are fighting lethal addiction, terrifying medical mysteries, and the violent ghosts of their past all at the exact same time. As the armed security forces silently close in on the amnesiac Matt, as the desperate paramedics rush to save a dying Nick, and as Victoria frantically tries to help her agonizing, disoriented mother, we as viewers are left completely breathless. The drama is relentless, pushing every single character on our screens to their absolute, emotional breaking point. Will Victor's elaborate trap actually succeed, or will Patty's highly unpredictable nature allow Matt to slip through their fingers once again? Will Nick survive this devastating, drug-induced physical collapse, or is the fentanyl addiction too deeply rooted in his failing system? And what is the true, terrifying cause of Nikki's blinding pain, and will it ultimately drive her back into the dark, destructive embrace of alcoholism? The answers to these burning questions are waiting just around the corner, but one thing is absolutely certain: Genoa City will never be the same after this week. Who will survive the impending storm?